Shalom. I'm Brother Issachar from Restores of Truth Ministries, sharing with you another Scripture Nugget. We know that it's been a while since the last time we shared a Scripture Nugget. That's mainly because we've been on a spiritual journey. We've been doing some lineage and historical research on some very, very important topics that's very important to us personally. And so I thank Abba Yah that we was able to do that and get it done. And so now we're going to pick up where we left off from the last time we posted a video regarding a scripture nugget. And it just so happens today that we're going to look at Yahucanan chapter 10 to get today's scripture nugget. Specifically, Yahucanan chapter 10, verse 16. But I want to begin, if you have your text with you, I want to begin in verse 11. John chapter 10, Yahucanan chapter 10, verse 11 through verse 16. Now this is Messiah speaking, MaShaich. And listen to what he's saying. It's a familiar reading, but we just want to kind of bring out something that I believe that is very pertinent and very important. So he begins in verse 11, or he's continuing speaking in verse 11. He says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. Now I'm reading from the 2009 scripture version. But the hireling, and not being a shepherd, one who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees. And the wolf snatches the sheep and scatters them. Now the hireling flees because he is a hireling and is not concerned about the sheep. Now as MaShaich is continuing to speak on this flow here, look what he says in verse 14, 15, and 16. He says, I am the good shepherd, and I know mine, and mine know me. Verse 15, even as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. I have to bring them as well, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. Now let's look at this. He makes a profound statement in verse 14. He says, I am the good shepherd. Immediately he's speaking messianic. He's speaking the fulfillment of the call of the Most High. He's speaking, I am the one that the Most High has said, that Yahuwah has said that shall come and gather Yahuwah's sheep. To find that, you would have to read Hezekiel chapter 34. And then you can see that, where Yahuwah says, I will search out my own sheep. I will gather my own sheep. So when Messiah says, I am the good shepherd, he's speaking, I am the one that has been prophesied about that should come. Therefore, because I am the one that has been prophesied to come, I am the one that is assigned to go and not only get the sheep, but I know who the sheep are. Now look what he says in verse 15. Even as the Father knows me, I know the Father. I lay down my life for the sheep. A hireling won't do that. Now let's get to the crux of today's scripture nugget. Verse 16. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold. I have to bring them as well, and they shall hear my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. So what is he saying here? He says other sheep. Now, when you look at other sheep, first of all, you have to know that they are sheep. They didn't become sheep. They were not something else and they became sheep. These were sheep. And the reason they are called other sheep, because they are not here with this fold. Read it again. And other sheep I have which are not of this fold. Now he's saying, I have these other sheep. They're just not of this fold. What fold is he talking about? The house of Yasharal. Other sheep I have which are not of this fold. They're not here. They're somewhere else. They are sheep, but they are at a place, they are in a position where they should not be. Therefore, he says, I have to bring them. The question is, bring them from where? And bring them to a place. What is this place? The fold. The fold that is already in existence. I have to bring them as well. Just like he's bringing the fold, he has to bring this other sheep. Remember, they are sheep. These are not something else. These are already sheep. They were born sheep. Aha. They was born sheep, and they had to be brought back to a place where they should be. Because currently they're at a place where they should not be, but they are sheep. Remember the promise, the prophecy in Ezekiel chapter 34. I will search out and gather my own sheep. That is what Yah says. So he says, I have to bring them as well. And they shall hear my voice. Listen to this. They shall hear my voice, and there shall be one flock, one shepherd. Now understand, he goes out to get his sheep that are not of his fold. They should be, but they are not. He goes and get them so that they can hear his voice. The same voice that he's speaking to the sheep that's within the fold, the same voice that they understand, that they know. Now he has to get this sheep that has left the fold or has separated from the fold, bring them to the fold so they can get used to hearing his voice. It's the same voice. It's not a separate shepherd. It's not a separate voice. Thus he says, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. Notice the difference. He goes from bringing them to the fold to where once they are brought to the fold that's already in existence, once he brings them to the fold, now he uses the term, there shall be one flock. Now the house is united. Ezekiel 37. The house of Ephraim, the house of Yehuda. Now they are united. Why? Because we're all hearing the same voice. There's not a separate voice for the house of Ephraim versus the house of Yehuda. So there shall be one flock. Let's look at this again. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, I have to bring them as well, and they shall hear my voice. And there shall be one flock and one shepherd. Now, how does a sheep understand the voice of a shepherd? His voice, his tone, his mannerism, and his instructions. He only has one set of instructions for the sheep that was in this fold versus the sheep that he's bringing and making them into one flock. Same voice, same message, same leadership. Shalom, shalom. See you next time on Scripture Nuggets.